My name is Grainne Kelly and I am the founder and CEO of BubbleBum. How can an inflatable seat be safe? I get asked this question so regularly, and of course it's a new technology for a lot of people. So of course I'm going to ask the question, and a lot of people are afraid of new technology. But always remember, there are so many life-saving devices that are inflatable. Let me give you an example. You've got life rafts, you've got inflatable seat belts, you've got airbags in your vehicle, even the very wheels on your vehicle are inflatable. So lots of safety devices are inflatable. The red side clips on the BubbleBum, and you can see them here. The red side clips are really, really important. And what you do with those clips is you position the lap belt only through the red clips. And what that does, in the event of a crash, they're actually fastened the whole way around the seat here. And you can see on the back, the webbing here on the back as well. So what happens in the event of a crash is that these bad boys here on either side actually pull the lap belt down instead of allowing it to ride up into the soft tissues of the child's abdomen. So that's why it's really, really important that the lap belt is fed through both red side clips on either side of the seat for every journey. The BubbleBum is made from a number of different components. So we've talked about the red side clips that position the lap belt on either side of the seat. And then we've got the valve on the back of the seat here. And the way this valve is designed, you can't overinflate the seat, because when you overinflate it, air starts to come out of the valve again. You don't remove it completely, you only have to unscrew this for it to work, and then you can screw it back up again. And what is so important about this seat is that not only is this seat crash tested in the current state, it's an inflatable seat. And the worst case scenario for an inflatable seat is that it could get a puncture. So if this seat got punctured, it would deflate. We have also crash tested this seat in the deflated state. And the reason that that works so well is because we've used memory foam technology here. And the memory foam technology causes the seat to practically refuse to deflate. So the seat keeps saying, I'm going to stay inflated with the use of this memory foam technology. The boost provided by a booster seat is really, really important. It's not just about positioning the vehicle seatbelt on the child. And yes, it is so important that the vehicle seatbelt is positioned correctly, but just bear this in mind. A child does not behave the same as a crash test dummy. A crash test dummy, when you sit it in position on a vehicle seat, it doesn't say, I'm uncomfortable, I'm going to move forward the way wee Johnny does whenever he's 6. So you've got the booster seat in a crash test scenario using a dummy who can't think for itself, who will sit positioned correctly, and then you've got wee Johnny who will be sitting on the booster seat and says, or without the booster seat, and says, oh, I'm not comfortable here. So what is important with the boost is that it allows the child to sit in such a way that their legs will naturally fold over the vehicle seat. So they're getting that natural graduation there when you've got that perfect positioning for them, and it only takes a couple of inches. It doesn't actually take a great deal of boost. But why that's important is if the child scooches their bottom forward and away from the back of the vehicle seat, what they're doing is they're actually introducing slack into the vehicle seatbelt itself. And when you do that, you're increasing the risk of what we call submarining. And submarining is where the child actually goes under the seatbelt, and that's when the abdominal injury is caused. And booster seats have been created to completely remove the abdominal injuries that children between the ages of 4 and 8 have been suffering. And abdominal injury is actually the second most common injury for children aged between 4 and 8 in crashes whenever they are not traveling with a booster seat. So booster seats have actually managed to completely eradicate those, and it is not only the positioning of the seat belt but also the boost of the seat that causes this to be effective. The BubbleBum has been crash tested to both meet and exceed the EU regulation, that's the R4404, and the American regulation, which is the FMVSS 213. It has been fully crash tested and all of the materials have been crash tested to meet the flammability and the toxicity requirements for both of those territories. So you will find if you're anywhere within the EU, and lots of places outside of the EU actually follow that R44 regulation, and North America will follow the FMVSS 213 regulation. One of the most notable things about the crash testing for the EU for the BubbleBum product is that it had to meet the criteria of the crash testing in the worst possible case scenario. So for an inflatable seat, the worst case scenario is deflated. So we have actually gotten around all of that and managed to pass all of the crash testing and gain our approval in the EU in the deflated state with the use of memory foam. So in the same principle, in the same way that you get a camping cushion and you cannot get the air out of a camping cushion, that was the light bulb moment behind how we could solve that problem for BubbleBum. And you can see here, this is an inflated seat, which is really quite firm. I've got here a deflated seat, and you can see even when deflated, this seat is still insisting that it's going to pump itself back up again. It's refusing to let the air out, and we've actually cut a hole in the back of this seat. It's not just open, there's an actual hole cut in the back of the seat to demonstrate this. So even with a significant size hole, the memory foam is still trying to pump the seat back up again. The webbing on the inside of the seat forms a harness for these red side positioning clips. And what's really, really important with this harness is that in the event of a crash, the harness holds the inflatable section in position, and it also pulls down. So when the pressure is applied on this portion of the seat, it forces the seat belt clips on either side to pull the lap belt down on the strongest part of the child's body, rather than allowing it to ride up. So if this wasn't designed to go around the whole seat, if the webbing, for example, was to stay in one piece around here, what would happen is that while the side clips would potentially hold the lap belt in position, they're not going to hold the lap belt far enough forward, and that's really what you need. So that's why we have the webbing going the whole way around the seat and around the front of the seat underneath the cover. So you can't see it here with the cover, but if you turn the seat over, you can see this here, and it's really, really important, that we use that to keep the lap belt on the strongest parts of the body. BubbleBum is the functional equivalent of any other rigid car booster seat on the market. In short, there is no such thing as a crash test for an occasional booster seat. BubbleBum has had to undergo all of the same crash testing to meet the same approval standard and to pass all of the same tests, including flammability and materials testing, as any other rigid car booster seat on the market. Well, thank you so much for watching, and remember, BubbleBum gives comfort and convenience without compromise.